need to think about building a brand. In fact, not just think about it, it's mandatory to build a brand. And frankly, the marketing 101 is that in order to have anything decent to market, you've got to be building a brand. Now that's clearly very challenging in the franchise sector. It's very challenging in any business to try and build a brand that's going to be consistent, that's going to have high standards, that's going to be offering the customer what they want and to stay relevant. In a franchise business, it's clearly much more challenging because you need a much wider range of people to be understanding the brand that you're trying to build and to be willing to do it together and to go beyond the day-to-day dealings and the day-to-day problems and resentments sometimes that you can have in franchise businesses. You really do need to get together and to build something that is distinctive, that's going to have a long-term sustainable influence and value. Because of the financial crisis, we've seen a lot of crises in belief sometimes in capitalism and in brands and so on, and we all of course need to make sure that people across all nations understand how important business is. This one wasn't good at doing that. If you've got a strong brand, that means you've got a loyal customer, and that's across business to business and consumer sectors. If you've got a loyal customer, that means more security of income, more security of earnings, that means more security of employment, and that in itself is a very important social benefit. And of course, if you've got a strongly branded businesses, your customers, whether business to business or consuming audiences, they know that you've got a reputation to protect, and so therefore you'll do the right thing. There's less risk attached to a strong brand. And this is another way of putting it. Here are the hard numbers on this chart. If you had a portfolio of strongly branded businesses compared with the average of all other companies, then you can just see on the black line here how much this pulls away from the average performance of other businesses. So by 75 points over a 7-year period. Because what this demonstrates is that what branding gives, strong brands give, is more returns for less risk. This is just some work that the Harvard Business School did with a study I was involved with a while ago, where they did the mathematics and proved that, again, if you have a strong brand, that gives you more returns, and it does that for less risk. The brand helps to inform decisions, or whether the brand is used to inform decisions across the organisation. And two-thirds of company directors said no, it didn't. Which is, you make the brand the alter ego, the organising idea behind your business. It is the way of stitching in competitive advantage to everything you do. From the way you answer the phone, the way you train people, the way you recruit people, the way you innovate. You need to make sure these are absolutely together, because that's the way you stitch in, as I say, competitive advantage through everything you do. And every touch point matters, and every touch point counts, because actually, if your people aren't building, all of your people, whether they're directly controlled or just franchised, unless they're building every touch point, then you're not generating as much value from your relationships as you can do. In a service business, in a small business, your behaviour is your communication. Your people are your communication. What they do, how they are, how much they are your ambassadors. And when you're looking at building a strong brand, when you're looking at valuing a brand, there are 3 parts to the equation. The first part is the future projections of your financial performance. The second is the role of brand in generating that value, because obviously in some categories the brand is very important, in beauty or in luxury, and in some categories then it doesn't have a natural advantage, like petrol retail or utilities. The role of brand is very low because price and location matters more. But the thing that really does count, and that everybody in this room has got the power to either control or to influence, is the brand's strength. First and foremost is the clarity of what you stand for and how you're different from your competitors. Secondly is the consistency of how that shows up through everything you do. Again, from the way you answer the phone, the way you serve customers, the touch points in store or indeed online. They've changed their philosophy. They've absolutely understood that brand is the most important thing. This was a brand that was going down the price and commodity road to perdition when they were trying to make products for other people. They wanted to control their own brand, and they measured their management performance by contribution to brand value and not just by straight financials. And they have overtaken Sony, which unfortunately is a brand in decline. And just 2 things I'll say. For those who say, yes, of course, branding is okay for big businesses, I'm just going to very quickly tell you the story of Ocado, which is a start-up online grocery business, as it says here, started up by 2 people from Goldman Sachs, who never built a grocery business before, but they thought there was an opportunity. And what they did was stitch the brand experience in from day one. They thought from the very moment that they had the idea to when they got funding, exactly how would the branded customer experience work from every single touch point. And they understood that one of the challenges of delivery, online retail, grocery retail, was that you wouldn't like the driver to come into your kitchen, because a lot of drivers of lorries don't look like the sort of person that you might want to have in your home. And so therefore they made sure everything looked great, everything looked professional, from the lorries that looked as though it was going to take care of your products, to, if you look at the bottom left here, people and behaviours. They made sure that their lorry drivers were like smart entrepreneurs. You know, they wanted to look respectable. They had clean shoes, clean clothes, and also they divided up all of your groceries into different colours according to where you were going to put them in the fridge or the freezer or in your store cupboard. Beautifully orchestrated, and by showing the brand experience from outset, then this business got funding from the best quality British grocery business in the UK. Okay, and I was just going to tell you about how we did it Interbrand, but I've run out of time, and I'm just going to say, bearing in mind that the future is going to be blended on and offline, anyone can become a retailer, anyone can be a medium. So you need to think about how you're going to compete, not just with your local competitors, but with global competitors who are going to come into this space, because India, as you know, is one of the most popular future destinations for businesses, and so therefore you need to make your brand as strong as it can possibly be, and particularly in the very complex new media and social space, where of course you need to do the right thing to get recommended by the right people, because it's not like the old world where you can control consumer responses. And at that, I'm going to say thank you very much. Thank you for listening.